What's up, cuz? How y'all doing? It's me. I am just getting in from work. I hope everybody is doing good. It's totally Tuesday. We're here for our Oracle Manifestation reading. We're checking in and we're seeing how we can best use our energy for the week ahead as it pertains to bringing our goals into fruition and the things that we want to manifest. So let's see what we need to, oh my gosh, my favorite card. I love this card, A New Dawn. The worst is behind you. The worst is now behind you and positive new experiences are on the horizon. And I just love that because I feel that vibe. You know, it's so hard after you've been through a long period of heightened stress or something traumatizing or low-level trauma that plays out over consistent over a period of time. I mean, just collectively for the last, since 2020, I mean, the pandemic, I mean, in case you guys have forgotten, before 2020, everybody was joking around about how frazzled we were. How little did we know how foolish we were. And so then, you know, things really kicked up a notch, went all the way up to 11. That's just global stress, right? So that's not even thinking about on a personal level what we've been through to bring us through this transformation, because we've been talking about how oh my God, we've all been through this huge transformation. We've just changed our lives, and we say these things and we forget what prompts the transformation. A spiritual awakening, usually not very pleasant, usually very turbulent, very tumultuous, very emotional, peaks and valleys. So I think that we're all just a bit on edge. I feel we're all so the other day, I can't remember, I was talking to my best friend and we were talking about a situation, and it was something that would have been very emotionally upsetting for me. But it's just after all that we've been through, I remember I had arrived at this. I was I'm not sure if I'm numb or neutral now, but I'm grateful to just not be in pain or fear or extreme anxiety or stress. And so I know the feeling of being is it safe to relax? Can we let our guard down a little bit? I would say don't do anything self-destructive or out of control. You know, don't go blowing all your money on a spending spree or anything. But I think we can take a breath and I think we can let it out. I think we can exhale. And I just think that the hardest part of this transformation, of this initiation period, I think is behind us. And I think that happier days are on the horizon. And even from a seasonal perspective, guys, we're already past the solstice. The days are getting lighter. I'm feeling hope growing within me, because I feel I can start to feel good things sprouting and building. You know, how we've been talking about how we've been through this process throughout 2022 of just trying to clear the ground, set the stage for huge new beginnings, you know, the transformation, laying new foundations. And it feels we've put so much work in and so much effort, and it just doesn't seem there's a lot to show for it yet. But I think it's coming. The sun is coming. The dawn is coming, right? We're not in midday yet. So the new day is upon us. And I think that we're going to start seeing the fruits of our efforts. And we're going to start seeing our outer world is going to start reflecting all of the change that we've been putting forth the effort into, which is very exciting. So yes. You know, and also with a new dawn in regards to our manifestation and our goals, I think it's too, and it bears, I can't think of that phrase right now. I'm like so tired, guys. The last 3 months have been insane. And I have 2 days off tomorrow. It bears repeating. And I'm so excited, and they needed somebody to pick up. But I was like, I'm literally like almost a crazy person right now. I don't think it's safe for me to pick up a shift tomorrow. I just need to like cook and clean and take 2 days off and like chill. But it bears repeating that as we move forward, we're approaching our goals in a new way. Not the way that we did before, not the old way of the same struggles or the same self-defeating tendencies. The worst is behind us. The old ways are behind us, and the shoddy, unreliable results are behind us, because we are stepping forth into this new dawn as our new selves. We are approaching our goals as our higher self. And so that means we're going to have a better sense of discipline. We have a deeper sense of self-love. We have a deeper sense of commitment and devotion to showing up for ourselves, right? So part of this is showing up now in a new way where we can keep those promises to ourselves, but also maybe be less rigid than you used to be more agile. Maybe you're overcoming the tendency to procrastinate or self-sabotage or second guess yourself, or hold yourself back because you don't have the confidence, right? Or maybe you held yourself back because you didn't have the endurance. Whatever it is, we're putting the old ways behind us because a new dawn is ahead of us. And the only way to get different results is to do something differently than we did before. All right. Very exciting. Love that card. Ooh, what's this? What's next? Simplify your life. Eliminate clutter from your home and work life to balance the flow of activities. I know that's for certain. I love a clean house. I like cleaning. I like doing like a really big clean every week and just keeping a clean environment and smudging and like letting the energy move through the house. Because like if you have any stagnant energy, or you feel like you've plateaued, or you've hit a block, or you just want like something to come through, or like some energy to move, or an opportunity to present, or you want to change your luck, the best thing you can do is I've got a little notification there. Deep clean your house. Like clean out a closet, get rid of a bunch of clutter, reorganize, dust, do all that, like really clean and get rid of some stuff and create some space in your house, and then go through and smudge really, really well. Like maybe even take it up a notch and get yourself some like dragon's blood coated sage and like do like the exorcism level smudge. But when you get that energy moving, it really opens up the flow of all the energy around you, and it allows like all these situations that were on pause to move forward. You might get calls and asked to do something, or you might get an opportunity, or invitations, gifts. So you never know what can happen, but I think simplifying your life, like literally cleaning and decluttering the house, is a good idea to do right now. But also Capricorn energy, as we round out the year and we're like envisioning the year to come, it's a really good idea to evaluate where we can trim the fat, where we don't need to be putting our energy where we're like overworking, or maybe we can work smarter, not harder somewhere. But just pay attention to where you can cut out things in your life that are superfluous or redundant or not necessary, or they're things that like don't bring you joy. Ooh, Marie Kondo, maybe I should do that. If the things that aren't bringing me joy in my life, I need to like throw them out. So yes. Let's see. Also, if you are, another way to like eliminate clutter here, this is a metaphor, but when I was in TV, film, and video production, when I first started in that career, I was waiting tables then, in the beginning. And after a while, like I couldn't grow in my freelance career and keep my serving job, because it was getting too hard to like be able to take gigs, because in TV, film, and video, like you might get a call and like you might be working the next day for like the next 3 weeks, who knows, but you need to be available and like incredibly flexible. And a restaurant is pretty flexible, but you still have to find someone to cover your shift if you need to like give up a shift or something. So it was just getting too much, and the restaurant was starting to be, it was starting to be in the way of letting that come in. And it was a very difficult, very terrifying decision for me to leave the restaurant job, because I had never depended on a freelance career like that full time, and the kind of thing where you have to go out and like hunt every gig down. So it was very scary. And so I started trying to be like, I kept saying I was on professional suicide watch at work because I was like trying to get fired. But I realized that the lesson that the universe was presenting to me, it was like the initiation, the requirement for me to like up level in the TV and film world, was that I was going to have to show my faith by quitting the restaurant, even though it seemed irresponsible and it seemed like I didn't know if I was making like the right choice. It's like I knew deep down that the universe was like, you're not going to get fired. Like, you're required to quit this job. This is part of what you need to do to like stand up for yourself, to break a boundary, to break a mindset, to like demonstrate your faith, to demonstrate your faith to yourself, right? And having that kind of moment where you face that kind of fear unblocks so much, and it creates so much magnetism. But by opening up that space, the universe filled it immediately with opportunity. I don't think that I had much of a lull at all before I just started working full time, and I never looked back. And I never thought, oh my God, I was never as happy and free as I was when I left the restaurant industry and I was just doing like full-time TV, film, and video production. Now, fast forward 12 years, eventually film production became the restaurant for me. It was burdensome. It was not allowing me freedom or flexibility. I was the only one being flexible, right? It wasn't flexible with me. And so again, I knew that it was time to take the film industry out of my life, even though it was my lifelong dream. It was my love in a way. I knew it was costing me too much because it wasn't allowing me enough time and space and routine and predictability in the rest of my life to really bloom and cultivate in other areas and have other experiences. And so eventually I knew I was going to have to leave the film industry, and it took me a few years to be able to like walk away. At first I thought I was just like walking away from a department because of the physical burnout that I'd suffered in it. I was a lighting and rigging person. And then eventually I just realized like I'm not going to find another department. I'm over it. I'm burnt out. And it was about another leap of faith, like leaving and, going out and trying to be a tarot reader in Nashville. That's not the most popular pastime here, or at least not publicly for people. But it's like my passion. And I knew that, again, I was being asked to make room for that. And you have to do it before you know, right? You have to exercise the faith and do it when there's uncertainty, when there's risk involved, in order for it to be a demonstration of faith, in order for it to be the most powerful sacrifice in the act of like trust, right? So yeah, so you may have to remove something out of your life in order to make room for your dream for this next phase. And if you do, don't feel like you have to just suddenly burn a bridge or like quit your job with nothing. I knew I had a safety net. Like, I didn't leave film until I had a plan. And that plan took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. But then I discovered this restaurant that I work at, and it was everything I wanted. I wasn't specifically looking for a restaurant job. In fact, I never thought I would do that again. But I knew I wanted like super flexibility, like insanely good hours, like the most money I could make for the least amount of time possible. I wanted a good environment, somewhere social, it was fun to be with, like a great team of people, like easy parking, like easy logistics, beautiful surroundings, like it was everything I wanted. And so I was like, oh my gosh, wow. But I had to make room for that. And when I did, my whole life was opened up this year. Like, I feel like I have so much more time to do the things that I love and that I love doing and that I want to do. And so I had to clear the clutter, though, of something that didn't seem like clutter. So you might have to get creative about this, but things that are ready to leave your life, it may be that those that you're required to let go of them before the other things can come in. You know, it's like getting over past relationships before you can really call in a new person. You can't still be hung up on your ex. You can't still be looking over your shoulder wondering what if with this person or that person. You kind of have to be like ready to move forward with space. The universe loves a void. So you give the universe a void and it will be filled. And the hardest part will be you being discerning about what you're wanting to fill your void. And keeping it open for the right thing to fill that void and not settling for something that's not quite right. Like, I wouldn't have been happy at just like any old restaurant job. Like, this one specifically was right. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't settle. Make sure that all the things that you want are there before you settle. Empowerment, you're more powerful than you realize. It's safe for you to be powerful. All right. Don't fear your own power. Empowerment. Yeah, so I think that, you know, we've been guided by spirit to be very intentional and careful about our mindset, our words, the stories we tell, the way we talk about things, the way that we say things. Oh, I mentioned in last night's video, one of my Kabbalah teachers, Marcus Weston, he'd mentioned in a post on Instagram over the last couple of days, and it was such a genius way to say it. He said, get out of the story and into the message. Meaning, get out of the, like, why is this happening to me? Oh my God. Like, get out of the soap opera and, like, figure out if there is a golden bit of wisdom to take from the situation. What is that, right? What is the message? What is the emotional intelligence you're taking away from this? What's the wisdom that you're taking away from this? What is the logic that you've drawn from the situation, right? Be empowered by that. And then don't be afraid to own your power. Especially for women. I think a lot of times we are afraid to be assertive. And that's why we're so passive. We're like, oh, sorry. Oh, no, it's okay. Oh, no. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. We're afraid. We're so afraid to take up space. Because, I mean, I'm a woman who owns their power. I'm not like tiptoeing on eggshells. I'm not a bitch, but I can be assertive. I can be direct. And that can be very threatening to people. Like it just can. Like, people like for women to be nice and quiet and pretty. They just do. So I think particularly for women, we can be intimidated by owning our power. And I think a lot of times we don't, like, we get, the more uptight or like scared or nervous we are about it or defensive, I think the more awkward it can come off. And I think that in order to own your power, it's just like, you can just be relaxed within yourself and just not be apologetic for taking up space. Like, you can just say something directly, or if something needs to get done, you can just tell someone that. Or if you need to like correct someone and give them a tip or a pointer, you can just say it straight up, and you don't have to make it like an emotional thing or a big deal. Like, you can just be like, just nice, neutral, fair. But yeah, like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be like girl power or like, you know, let's dominate, you know, like people do. You don't have to have an aggressive edge to like own your power. You can just be like really relaxed about it. And I think that the most powerful people have that quiet confidence where they're not trying to, like, they're not very pushy. They're not like trying to push an agenda or convince anyone. They're so relaxed and their confidence sells itself, right? Like, present, let people decide from there, you know? So don't be afraid of your power, but also don't be real pushy with it either. Just let it be. Oh, you know what? It's like the strength card. The strength major arcana card in the tarot. It's like persuade through gentleness. But you don't have to be aggressive to be assertive, if that makes sense. But yeah, don't be pushy. Be gentle. Have gentle strength. Okay. And also, you know, as we are, like, as far as manifestations go, when you are creating your vision, when you're declaring with your mouth what you want to call in, when you're declaring your gratitude for it already being there, like, do these things with some gusto, right? Do it with some chutzpah. When you are doing magic, when you are owning your human divinity and co-creating and manifesting, you need to do it with authority. When you work with the angels, like, you know, you can be polite if you want. They're forces. I don't think they're like, you know, I mean, they do have personalities, so don't be rude. But, like, be respectful. But, like, you can be, like, assertive and have, like, authority, essentially. We are above the angels. They are here to help us, right? So when you are conjuring the elemental forces and whatnot, do it with authority, and don't second guess yourself, and don't take it back. Don't be iffy, right? Don't be wishy-washy. Go full on, full out. All right, and what is our last card for the week? Yeah, so far it's like, this is a new start. Simplify your life. Cut the things out that aren't working for you and be unapologetic about it. Say what you want. Be simple. Be direct. Be unapologetic about it. You know, and Mercury has gone into retrograde, or is about to. So right now is a great time to simplify your communication, and just keep in mind, like, when you text, tone isn't there. I kept seeing this card when I was shuffling. You know, make sure that you remember as you're texting, like, somebody may not get the tone. So err on the side of putting an emoji. So that smiley face, like, just so you know, like, you know, don't assume that I'm being, like, facetious or whatever, or just try to make your communication simple and direct right now. And our last card is Soulmate Relationship. New romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. This card has been coming a lot for like 3 months. There could be a soulmate in the vicinity. Maybe someone coming in. Maybe someone in your circle that you haven't met yet, or that knows someone that you know. Maybe it's someone that you do know. Maybe there's a friend soulmate in your life that you have this goal in common with, that you can help each other, and that maybe you're going to collaborate or team up. But let's just pretend for a second that you may have the potential for a soulmate relationship to come in. I would say do things differently than you've ever done them. Let go of experiences that you've had in the past, like the exes and the stories. Get out of the stories and get into the message, the lessons that you took from those relationships. Simplify your life. Definitely make time for dating, but also I would say, I'm not saying don't be dating multiple options, but I would say by simplifying your life in the dating realm, I would say maybe get serious about the kind of options that you're entertaining. Like, maybe if you're ready for the soulmate, then don't waste your energy on junk food right now. Like, the fuck boys and the fuck girls, like the people you're just trying to hook up with for like a thrill, maybe it's time to clean that behavior up. You know, maybe if you're just like wilding out, maybe rein it in and start focusing on serious options. Or not, I mean, don't think of it as serious options because that doesn't sound fun, but like people that you would legitimately like entertain like a real connection with, someone that you could see having like emotional intelligence and the ability to like have a relationship and be an equal in a relationship, and not just someone that is going to be exciting to have a fling with. Someone who really lights you up and may have a capacity for like, I don't know, depth and intimacy, and, you know, have things in common that you both get really excited about, instead of just dating whoever's around just because you're like bored or you want to scratch an itch, you know? So maybe that would be a good way to simplify your life in terms of calling in a soulmate. And then empowerment. Be confident, be you, do not dim your light to fit in, right? Because the person that you're attracting, maybe they want someone who's like outrageous or bold or, you know, a little bit like edgy, you know? So don't be afraid to show yourself, to be like, don't dim, don't shrink yourself, don't hold back because you think that you're too much. But also read a room. I know, it's like, it's so weird. It's like the contradiction of be yourself and don't change for anyone, but also like be able to like take advice and like refine yourself where as needed. But you know what I mean. Be empowered. Don't play quiet, small, passive so that someone else feels more comfortable and like bigger around you, right? Because that's not sustainable for the long haul. Because even if you can pretend to be like a less powerful person for a little while, they're gonna know. They're gonna know that you're powerful, and they're gonna know that you're shrinking for them, and eventually they're gonna lose respect for you, and they're still gonna be intimidated by you anyway. So be your full self. Let the people who are intimidated be intimidated, and maybe they'll get the courage to come around if they're meant to, and if not, they're not for you, right? But like, don't play small. Don't pretend to be less than you are to make someone comfortable, or to, you know, to try not to like scare them off with your, you know, with your you-ness. Just be yourself. Be yourself, and the right person will appreciate it. Okay, the person who will really match and will really like be authentically like super into you. All right, y'all, I am sleepy. I am gonna take a nice hot shower and eat some leftover pizza, and then tomorrow I'm gonna cook, yay, and clean. It'll be great. Well, all right, y'all, be good but not too good. Ciao.